having heard you say that that's what I said, and you want to think about it, we should have Star Trek back, and I'm sure we will. When I did Star Trek for those 3 years, and it was canceled, that was the end of it. People have said to me, asked me time and time again, did we know that 50 years later you'd be in front of 3,000 people and talking about Star Trek? Of course we knew. It was as far-fetched as saying, that part on that series that I just talked about, Spike, right. That in 20 years, they're going to do a series about that character. I mean, it was as foolish as that. I had the flu on the last day, this I remember vividly, and they had laid out a bed so that I could get up and do the last scene, and go back to bed until I was called again, and I was on the set. And then when it was over, they heaved a lot of things and a sigh of relief, and I went home. And sad, that was the end of a lovely gig. I loved playing the part, it was so well written, so many things to do, and I enjoyed it so much. And that was the end of it. 6 years later, I'm skiing on some mountain. A guy shushes up to me, and he says, have you been to the local bar? They're playing these funny movies of you acting the fool. I said, what are you talking about? So I get out of the bar, and on a loop, they've got those funny films, the gag reel. They got a gag reel of me banging into the door, and I'm thinking, why would they want to do that? And it was the first inkling 6 years later that I had that Star Trek was somewhere dimly alive, and it only slowly came back to life. It resuscitated in a variety of ways. The first movie, although it made a lot of money, wasn't critically successful, and a big-time director was on it. And it was only when the smaller movies were made, and especially Star Trek V, which was beautifully directed, and brought the whole franchise to life, that slowly it became this gigantic thing that, with all these iterations of these movies, these successful movies. J.J. Abrams is giving us a Star Trek ride. And by the way, you know he's going to do Star Wars. So there's cross-pollination here going on. What's the name of the guy? I just thought of this. Was his name Burbank? The guy who did the trees? That was his name, wasn't it? It was Burbank, from which the town is now, or the outskirts is named after, who did orange blossoms and did grafting. But that goes for a lot of politicians. They did a lot of grafting. Play on the word grafting for those who do. So J.J. Abrams is our Dr. Burbank of today. He's grafting Star Trek onto Star Wars, and Star Wars onto Star Trek. The result of which, we're going to wait and see what happens. An inside joke. Okay. And somebody just flashed a saber at me. Yeah, there you go. Yes, next question.